while it's getting ready to live stream, I just want to make sure everybody knows where the exits are, just in case. And this seems a little echoey. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the monitor thing again. I think.
Does that help? No.
No, I was wrong.
How about your monitor?
Check one. It just seems 1-1. Seems weird.
Maybe turn off the monitor?
I'm okay about turning off the monitor. Check 1-1. Does that sound okay?
Okay, how does this sound? That's better. Okay, so before you start, I want to make sure everybody knows where the exits are. So you can go out that way, down that corridor, and there are a couple of doors that you have to go through. And you can go out this way into my office. There's a door that goes on to Central. And there's also a door back there near Shia and Asher. And there's, of course, the foyer. So just so everybody knows how to get out, okay? So Shabbat Shalom. We're going to begin with Hine Matov, page 128 in the big fat book and 10 in the little narrower book.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
How wonderful it is to be together. Why don't you all say Shabbat Shalom to each other?
Shabbat Shalom.
And we have a guest here from Israel. Kathleen, welcome. Okay, Lori Magnus is going to light the candles for us, page 120 and 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
And the Kiddush is page 123 and 5.
Yeah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh v'reshit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Sure.
Tonight, for the first time, we have more people in the sanctuary than on Zoom. Shechachayanu, right? So we are now in the period between Passover and Shavuot, between our escape from slavery to our receiving the Torah on Mount Sinai. As many of you know, during this time, we count the Omer. And the Omer was a measure of barley that we brought to the temple every day. Of course, when the temple stood. After the temple was destroyed, we counted the days in between the two holidays anyway. And the mystics used this occasion as a time for self-refinement. Each day represents a different facet of our personality and offers us the opportunity to improve ourselves. To put it in the words of Rabbi Saul Haimoff, the mitzvah of the Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, especially its nature of being a consecutive daily count in an ascending order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has been used as a model for self-growth and resilience. The Zohar Hadash states, when we count the 49 days of the Omer from the second night of the festival, it reminds us that each day marks a step away from the defilement of Egypt and a step towards spiritual purity. At the end of this period, the Israelites were worthy of receiving the Torah. Let us work to become worthy of the Torah. Yedid Nefesh, page 128 and 10.
Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Meshochav hach el retzonach. Meshochav hach yalalai lai lai el retzonach. Yarutz avdach kemoyai. Yishtachave lai 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 el mehadarach. Vatik Yehumana rachamecha, Vatik Yehumana rachamecha, v'chosana al ben ahuvecha, v'chosana la 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 al ben ahuvecha. Ki ze kama nifsafti lirot betiferet lai 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 tiferet uzecha.
So Rabbi Haimoff is a psychologist, and he affirms that counting the Omer as a path to self-improvement has a scientific basis. He states the Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer model, is a count, a streak, a resolution. We set our goals, map out our journey, and monitor our progress each step along the way. We stand tall each night and announce proudly, this is the 13th day, the 14th day, the 15th day. We don't want to miss a single day. We count in an ascending order instead of a descending order. We are leaving our past filled with destructive habits and unhealthy patterns, filled with all of those things that we want to get rid of. We're building towards something better. We're climbing up a mountain of self-actualization. An article published in the journal Psychological Bulletin conducted a meta-analysis on how monitoring your progress influences your ability to achieve your goals. It turns out that it matters a lot. People who record their progress and monitor their gains and losses are much more likely to be successful than those who don't. What's more, physically recording your progress and announcing it publicly further improves your chances of achieving the results that you're striving for. The Chatzi Kaddish is page 263 and 145.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חידותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו אמן.
And we rise for the Baruch Hu on the next page, if you are able. Please be seated. And this is April Poem by Susan Windle. Nothing to do but surrender, yield to the glory of the ground. During this time of year in Northwest Philadelphia, where I live, the ground truly does sing its glory. A quiet hum rises from lawns and the nearby forest floor to fill the first green breaths of the hardwoods. Everywhere, daffodils trumpet, and all month long, too, ecstatic, glad to be back, for Scythia goes on and on with its wild, ungainly reach. Relax and stretch into love. Come into your glory like these bright flowers. This is your time. Enjoy it. Washed in April, veiled in gray, the star magnolia opens. In her fingers, I am lifted to the tips of budding maples and brushed an early green in the morning rain. There you will find me still wet with daffodils. Ahavat Olam is page 266 and 148.
Ahavat Olam et Yisrael amecha Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta. בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו,
Shema is on the next page, and please rise if you're able.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated, except for Carol Lee, who will lead us in the Ve'ahavta, page 268 and 150.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha V'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha laman tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Oh, that happens a lot. Thanks. It's on this side. Yeah, I do. I have them for a lot of them, and not for that one. Careful, don't trip over.
Susie noticed. So this is an Omer poem by Diane Elliott. What keeps me going when the practice becomes boring? No words spring to mind, no inspiration bubbles up from within. Then I can only lean back into now. Suddenly I'm 6 years old, clinging to a flimsy sled that's hurtling downhill on solid ice with no one steering. I'm 8 years old, strapped into the parachute ride at Riverview, the old amusement park, and it's too late to change my mind. And there's nothing to do but trust the fellow who runs the machinery, wait for the chute to open, and hope the guy wires hold. I'm 65 years old, hurtling downhill through a life I think I've pieced together, choice by choice, realizing that my job is to relax at last because someone else is definitely steering. Netzach shebenetzach. Victory will within victory will. The Michamocha is page 270 and 152. So tonight is the beginning of the 14th day of the Omer, and this is day 14, Fortnight by Rachel Barenblatt. 2 weeks out of Egypt, were our ancestors footsore? First, the jubilation of skipping town without even a sourdough starter. Then sandal blisters, manna, and fear. We don't know where this invisible God is going to take us. We don't know how long the walk will be, how safe the passage. We don't know who we are becoming. Then again, neither does God. Options are infinite. Can we trust our guides to find us water in the desert? Wisdom from the living well? The pillar of cloud lifts. Strike camp, take heart. Trust the unseen. You're already different from when you began. What are we doing next? Yismachu. Okay, Yismachu, page, let me tell you what page it's on, 272.
ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימין, אותו קראת השבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שמרי, שמרי, שמרי שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. Adonai
Wait.
Sefatay
Woo. Hang on.
Sorry.
People have to rise. And it's page 273 and 155. Okay. Take two.
Adonai Sefatay Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka אלוהי לאה ואלוהי רחל, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור ואדלם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, ורב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לפשעי עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, להללו סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please continue silently to page 282, and please be seated when you're done. And Shalom Rav is page 282 and 164.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasi be'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom, v'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol tovcho shah bishlomecha, baruch ata Adonai, oseh hashalom.
And that's an Elliot Levine, right? Beautiful. So we're going to count the Omer, page 570 and 278.
hinenu mukhanum zuman, hinenu mukhanum zuman, hineni 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 mukhanum zuman, lekol mitzvat shel sefirat haomer, lekol mitzvat shel sefirat haomer, hineni mukhanum zuman, hineni mukhanum zuman, hineni mukhanum zuman, hineni mukhanum zuman. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sifrat haomer. Hayom arba'asa yom shehem shnei Shavuot laomer.
Yasher Koach. First time he's done that. Beautifully done. We're going to take a moment to think of those in need of healing, whether of body, of mind, or of spirit. We think of congregants and friends and family of congregants, Jonathan Davidson, Ben Henderson, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangus, Leslie Ferris, Pamela Mangus, Johnny Sickhat, Larry Miller, Martha Miller, Judy Richmond, Fernando Guerrero, Margie Aiken, Gary Droutman, Eileen Pritchard, Ann Craven, Marvin Young, Earl Costellos, Saul Eppelbaum. Would anyone like to add a name in this room?
In the back.
And let me. Robin Kurland, Judy Cohen, Therese Spellman, Ruth Barrett, Eleanor Gailey. Anyone else? And please join us in Mishabah, prayer for healing.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Mekor habracha leavotenu. ישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיך, ונאמר ישלח רפואה שלמה עם כל חי ישראל, ישראל. שברך אבותינו מכל הברכה לאמותינו, מי שברך אמותינו מכל הברכה לאבותינו, מכל הברכה
So you may remember that last week, the first week of counting the Omer, we focused on chesed, loving kindness, which Sam Feinsmith defined as loving connection, the gushing spring of transcendent love streaming through and around us. This week, we are focusing on gevura, which means strength, and it's connected to the word gibor, the word for warrior. It's also the word for one who is mighty and strong. This midah, or moral virtue, is about setting limits and boundaries. As Feinsmith explains, this gives the divine flow, the divine love that's flowing through us and around us, focus, shape, measure, and form, that it might be received and digested. Setting wise limits and boundaries can require us to muster a great deal of inner strength. Why are such boundaries needed? Would it not be preferable to just swim in the current of love? Well, consider the following teaching from the Hasidic master, Rabbi Dov Ber, the Maggid of Mezerich. Here's what he says. During the creation of the worlds, the Holy and Blessed One needed to contract God's radiant light so that the world could receive it without going out of existence. This contraction, which is called tzimtzum, contains, delimits the outflow of divine loving kindness, of chesed, the nature of which is to spread out. It's just like water in a vessel. The glass contains the water and doesn't allow it to flow outwards. Even though we may experience this contraction as severe, it is kindness nevertheless, for each and everything that exists must have some good, that is loving kindness, mixed into it, for the world is sustained through kindness. And even though the contraction is severe, without it the worlds would cease to exist. Just as we can't look at the sun on account of its luminous radiance without some shield or screen to block it, and thereby enable us to enjoy its light, so too with God, whose light is extremely powerful on account of its luminous clarity and the radiant loving kindness and compassion it contains. Were it not to have some dividing screen, the world could not receive the love. And this is why God needed to contract God's self. Feinsmith explains why an outpouring of love must be contained. The love flowing into and through us can be too intense or diffuse to be made manifest and fully received. You may recognize this kind of overpowering or unfocused love from your own experience of someone who smothered you with too much love, or someone who didn't know how to provide love in the right measure and at the right time, or someone whose love was indiscriminate. If our love is to be felt and received to be loving, we must learn how to set wise limits that allow us to dole it out appropriately. Sometimes being truly loving means standing firm, setting limits, and saying no, even when the recipient may experience our doing so as severe. I'm sure all of you feel this. I certainly do. It's very hard to say no. If you don't say no once in a while, you just give it all away. When lacking clear and wise limits, our desire to love may express itself as attempting to fix someone else's problem, instead of listening empathically and offering kind validation. Again, guilty as charged. Someone comes to you and says, I have this problem. You say, oh, this is what you should do. Well, guess what? They need to figure out what they should do. And I'm always guilty of violating that particular restraint. Or the intensity of our love may crowd others out or rob them of agency. You know, if you say to someone, here's what you need to do, they don't have the agency to figure it out themselves, and they can figure it out. We may take on too much in an effort to shine love upon others, only to burn ourselves out. Or we may shower love indiscriminately in ways that condone harmful behavior or fail to protect those who are most vulnerable, right? Enabling someone to, let's say, drink too much or do drugs or whatever it is. Oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. No, you got to say no. Or we may consume too much ourselves, thinking that we're just practicing self-love, even though we may be hurting ourselves and our planet. We all consume too much, right? All such unhealthy expressions of chesed can sever our connection with our own heart and with others, even those we had intended to hold an intimate connection. Interestingly, this week's Torah portion, Ahare Mot, after death, like most of the book of Leviticus, is about strict rules for the sacrificial system. We're given the rules this week for the high priest's conduct during Yom Kippur, as well as the laws of incest. These are limitations that are placed on us so that we may become a holy people. By restricting how we behave, we can invite God's presence to dwell among us. A lack of protocol results in dire consequences. Think back to the Torah portion a few weeks ago when the high priest Aaron's 2 sons offered what is called strange fire, an uncalled for offering of incense, which caused them to be zapped and killed. On the other hand, we must always balance gevura, limitation and strength, or judgment, with chesed, loving kindness. As Karen Berg notes, whereas chesed gives almost to a fault, gevura is miserly. Where chesed expands, gevura contracts. Where chesed says share, gevura says what's in it for me. Where chesed celebrates heroism, gevura is a disciplinarian with fear looking over its shoulder. Gevura run amok without chesed's balance becomes a tyranny of the police state. But the undifferentiated seed that lies in chesed never becomes a differentiated tree without gevura's strong hand. And if you know anything about the sfirot in the mystical tradition, these two virtues are opposite each other and have to be balanced out all the time. So essentially what these 2 weeks of Omer consciousness teaches us is the very important balance between love and limits, between judgment and compassion. It's very difficult to find the appropriate balance, even for God. Here's a story in the Talmud. Rabbi Ishmael ben Elisha, the high priest, said, "Once on Yom Kippur, I entered the innermost sanctum, the Holy of Holies, to offer incense. And in a vision, I saw God seated upon a high and exalted throne. And God said to me, 'Ishmael, my son, bless me.' And I said to God the prayer that God prays. 'May it be your will that your mercy overcome your anger, and may your mercy prevail over your other attributes.' The Holy One, blessed be God, nodded God's head and accepted the blessing. May this be so for us as well." So I'm going to invite up Tim Beld of our board. Tim has served on a board for, I think, decades, and he's won the Shofar Award at least once. He should probably get it again. He's very dedicated to our temple. So, Tim, you have a few announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. On behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome you all and tell you about a few events. Adult Ed, please join Rabbi Singer for her 4-part series, The Book of Job. How do we understand evil in the world? The second session will take place on Thursday, May 5th at 6 p.m. On May 6th, we have a Shabbat service, and we're in for a really great treat that absolutely can't be beat. Our high schoolers will all play the Sabbath prayers on that day. And Friday, May 6th at 6:30, the time to hear Eli, Oliver, Noah, and Jacob, so sublime. These peppy klezmer tunes belong so we can all sing along. Join us in person that night. It will be a prayerful delight. And yippee, it's time for bagel time again. I think Carol Lee maybe would want to speak to this, but the Bagel and Lox brunch is Sunday, May 22nd at 10:30 a.m. to 1. We will have bagels, cream cheese, and lox, of course, eggs scrambled in omelets, vegan scramble, plus beverages, fruit, pastries, and juice. A silent auction and music. We will again be seated at tables outside this year. So please come and join us.
Thank you, Tim. I'm going to microphone. And of course, did you write that jingle? It sounded like you. I thought, did Hannah write that, or was that Carol Lee? It must be Carol Lee, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Tim. By the way, he's won the Shofar Award twice.
Oh, twice. I thought maybe you had.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And everything Tim just read, we're going to do. Please, please come on the 6th to see the kids play, plus Eric, plus Jory, plus Morris. It's going to be a children's service. It's going to be really fun. And it'll be better if everybody is here in person. Peer person, everybody. Okay, thank you all for coming tonight. And of course, the Bagel and Lox Brunch. Tim is cooking. He makes the best omelets. So everybody get your tickets and come, right? Right. Okay, so thanks everybody. Please get your tickets and come.
Absolutely, and that May 6th service, first of all, Carol Lee has...
Yeah, there's more.
There's more?
Yeah.
Well, Carol Lee put together a junior band. You were the force behind it. Okay, and so the kids are going to play. It's also a religious school honoring religious school service. So we want to honor the teachers, the educator, the Melamedet, the volunteers, the Madrichim, and we're also honoring the graduating seniors. We've got 5 kids who are going off to college. So it's going to be a very special evening, and we hope you guys can come here. Okay, so thank you, Tim. And I want to also thank Elliot for your beautiful music, not only beautiful singing, but original compositions. Okay, these guys back here, Shia and Asher. Can you get the camera so we can wave to you? There you go. Good job tonight, really good job. We've had a lot of audio challenges and they've managed to overcome them, so appreciate that. Rusty Russell, very last minute, took on the door duty of making sure we're safe, so thank you so much. And also has organized all the door people who are making sure that we're safe here in the synagogue and planning a whole security thing, training and plans and all kinds of things, so really appreciate that. Of course, Rusty served on the board for a long time, finally got off the board, but it's not as though he has nothing else to do. Now he's doing security and has won the Shofar Award as well, which is for people who've gone above and beyond. I also want to welcome Sherry Fleischman, who is a new congregant. So welcome, Sherry. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just a couple of words.
Couple words. I moved here in spring of 2014, about 2 weeks before Passover, and the first thing I did was call and come and participate. So I've been hanging around for a while and finally decided to join all of you lovely people. I've been here now, this is my 9th year. I was a city commissioner. I was the chair for the Commission on Aging for 6 years. I've contributed many things in this community, and I'm looking forward to being able to share my talents with everybody here.
And of course, she just joined. She was just admitted through the board on Tuesday. Today's Friday, and she's already doing welcoming for the Open Arms Committee. So, got right to work. And Rue Chantal, who used to be a member and is sort of edging towards coming back here. So welcome also. Okay, you know what we haven't done for a while? Anybody have any simchas to share? Any happy occasions that you'd like to share? Lori.
I just got back on Sunday from 12 days in Europe. I went to Belgium and the Netherlands and France, including Paris, where I'd never been before. I went with Gail Webb.
You have a good time?
Yes, I had a wonderful time.
That's great. Well, welcome back.
My grandson, Tim's son, Joshua, is coming back to Riverside to sing at the Riverside Chorale on the 15th of May. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a Sunday, and Joshua's going to sing with the Raincross Chorale at Calvary Presbyterian Church. And what happens is they have doing something with film this year. I don't know exactly, but that's what I heard. every year they give awards to someone in the high school that sings really well. And Joshua has won it, that's why he's coming back. And also Katie Lipow has won it. I'm not sure about Rena, but she should have if she didn't. Anyway, so I want everybody to come on the 15th of May. 3 o'clock.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, please. No, you have to do it in here, otherwise the Zoom people can't hear you.
I live next door to Dan and Leela Price. Right next door. I can hear them sleeping at night.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Well, that's a special privilege to live near Dan and Leela Price. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. All right, so Bob Rosenbaum, would you like to come up and open the Ark with Steve Tick? And we rise for the Aleinu, which is on the inside cover of your prayer books, theoretically anyway.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב תורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Oh, Wendy's gone. I was going to mention Wendy. Hey, Wendy! And Bill! I know every time I thank people, I know I'm always going to forget somebody, because Wendy set up the oneg, and her father's visiting, and now they're gone. Setting up the oneg, of course, but Rusty went to get them. So I hope people will stay for the oneg. Were you able to get her back? Oh, all right. Well, Wendy, thank you. I will come back and thank you personally, and just want to welcome her father, Bill, who's visiting. So we'll say hello to him at the oneg. We now take a moment to think of those who are no longer with us. May their memories be for a blessing. We're observing Shloshim for Stephen Lux, brother of Elliot Lux, and for Fern Shanklin, longtime member of the temple. Is anyone, oh, you didn't know? Yeah. And is anyone else in Shiva Shloshim or the first year of mourning who would like to mention a name? Look in the chat. Edith Tanizaki, first year. First year, Willie Davis. Yahrzeit, Cindy Smithany, Richard Horan. First year, Josie Kruk Sands and Alina Archibek Ferris. Eleanor Gailey. Oops. I think Eleanor Gailey was on the Misha Baruch list. I apologize. And we're observing Yahrzeits this Shabbat for Charlotte Mann, Fanny Miller, Richard Archibek, Edith Budofsky, Ellen Schmuckler, Alan Hoffman, Zundel Sokolowitz, Bernard Katz, Simon Ramick, Saul Blumenson, Solomon Gershon, Ruth Smiley, Loyal E. Keir, Denise Matheny, Aaron Harris, Anna Shapiro, Ermi Tilton, Dr. Arthur Seligman, Grace Gilman, Sarah Resnick. Is anyone else here observing a yahrzeit? Anyone on Zoom observing a yahrzeit? Of course, we think of those who perished in the Holocaust, who have no one to say the mourner's Kaddish for them, and those in Ukraine who are being killed. And we rise, if we're able, page 598 and 294. And those on Zoom, if you want to unmute and join us, you are welcome to do so. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei rabbah. Be'alma divrach yechutei v'yamlich amalchutei v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yidromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha baruchu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. As together we say, Amen. Our closing song is Adon Olam, page 625 and 321.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra et nasa v'chefzo kol hazai melech shemo nikra be'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh b'tifara Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra et nasa v'chefzo kol hazai melech shemo nikra ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni להמשיל לו להחבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם כמלאך בטרם כל יציר נברא עת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו הפקיד רוחי ועת אישן והעירה ועם רוחי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא אירא אדון עולם אשר בטרם כל יציר נברא עת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat shalom to everyone, and those on Zoom, if you'd like to stay and chat with each other, you're more than welcome. And the rest of us will go have some delicious oneg.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
I think on Zoom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. From my
Shabbat
house to
shalom.
yours.
Shabbat shalom.
How's everybody doing? Okay?
Yeah, it's all right. I passed my driver's test at 72, or 71, almost 72, and got
Congratulations.
100%.
Yeah,
Mazel tov.
that's an achievement.
Yeah, I deserve a gold star from kindergarten.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Well, it
anyway,
looks like the number of people attending Templar is getting bigger.
that's
So
great.
it's nice to see.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come in person next week, in part because I love the kids, and in part because I love klezmer music. So what's not to love?
Yeah, the kids are fun. I enjoyed the children's service, but not everybody
Yeah.
does. So it is fun to see them growing up and changing. And
Right?
yeah,
Right. I know. I feel the same way.
they're our future leaders of our own temple. So we have to encourage them to stay. Even if they go away for college, they need to come back.
Truly, Leah. Oh, anyway, so it's been quite a week. Ugh.
You too, huh?
Yeah, a lot going on, and you know, not all good. My niece Eleanor is battling stage 4 ovarian cancer at this point.
Oh,
God
horrible.
bless.
And yeah, she's
Horrible.
got the full, I mean, she's had it for a while, and it went into remission, and now it's back, and it's just a slog. I mean, she's a fantastic person, and her husband adores her. So it's like, there
Yeah.
is support and all that, but
What age is she?
Well, she lives in Colorado, in Littleton, and she works for the DOD, the Department of Defense, doing white collar crime or military contractor crime, basically. And she's a computer forensics person. She follows the money, and
Good for her.
unfortunately, she can do that from home. But it's, oh, God love her. She's so stoic about the whole thing. And I told her that she should just put all her worry on me and her mother, and just be there for herself. And
Is she getting the right care?
she's getting great care from University of Colorado Hospital.
Okay.
It's a really good hospital. So she's satisfied with that. And, she's not depending on well, VA in that area is actually very good, but if otherwise it would have been a little problematic. But so anyway, but it's just hard because she's such a beautiful
Person.
young woman. Yeah, she's
Inside
great.
and out, she sounds like.
She's a wonderful person, and I love her so much, and it's just hard to see her suffering. And
It's not right, is it?
it's not right. And I think, I actually think she's going to
Yes,
pull
God.
through it, because I just can't imagine her not being with us. But, she has low points, and this week was a low point for her. So
Then next week will be better.
I
Tomorrow will be
yeah,
better.
I think so. I think so. So,
Excuse me.
I'm the fun aunt, right? So I'm the one that calls and cheers her up and everything. Anyway,
Tells a joke, sends a scripture.
all the little things, to like.
It's always helpful. I've learned a lot through my journey.
Hey, these are the obnoxious dogs.
Are they playing? They're playing.
Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you.
What's her first name? Eleanor? I
Her
will
first
keep
name
her
is
in my
Eleanor.
prayers.
Yeah, she's just a delight, and
Be positive and stay
I
up.
am. I like. That's my job, right?
It is.
I'm
It
the
is.
designated joyful and hysteric of the family.
That's good. You got to have a good outlook, a positive attitude.
Yeah, well, it's gotten me a long way, let me tell you.
It usually
Anyway,
does.
so
Pleasure.
I hope to see you next week in person.
Yeah. How's Harvey?
Well, I'm hanging in. I'm tired tonight.
Yeah. How's
Not
it
any
going?
better than last week?
Yeah, better than last week. Yeah, I'm not as.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Good.
improvement.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, I had some medical stuff today that I spent too many hours in the clinic, but nothing.
Oh.
Major. It was no big deal. It was just,
Yeah, just exhausting, right?
yeah, I just think I got home. I was just wiped out. I just wanted to stay awake long enough to do the service.
But I
Yeah.
feel like
How's David and Christine? Good? How are
David.
the Leakmans tonight?
David's there.
Hello,
David's
we're
David's
here.
there? Well, it says David. It could be Christine.
Oh,
that's
hi,
Christine.
Christine.
Both here. Hi, I'm
Hey.
listening to you all. We got cut off last week, didn't we, Lila?
Yeah,
and
we were
Barbara?
wondering what happened.
We think the rabbi
know,
shut
yeah.
off her computer.
Yeah. Well, it isn't the rabbi's computer, but it's in it's Andrea's computer is running
Ah.
the thing. So it's whenever they close everything up and then they go in there and they just, snap it off. They don't tune in and see what's going on. So
If we're still talking or still here.
yeah, they're not checking in on us. And Lila, how's your husband? Did he have a good week?
He had he's having a good week. Let's hope.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Thank
Good.
you all.
Is David there, Christine?
Well, he's just gone to cut the challah.
Oh, well, that's
Aw.
nice.
You have some honey with it too?
Here,
Ooh.
they want to say hello.
Who do you
to
think is cutting the
Evelyn.
challah, her
Uh-oh.
honey?
I will put here to be prepared.
What does that mean? Is that yes? You have a
People on
dirty
Zoom,
mind.
our Zoom friends. Here you
Yeah.
come. Oh, we've got it paired with the television, but when in the kitchen, you don't get
Hi,
to
David.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom. Listen, I love your paintings that you posted. Oh my gosh,
thanks,
they're
Christine.
fabulous. I just, I keep wanting to okay, when am I going to ask him how much?
So is David going to put them on sale at the Lox and Bagel brunch? Or are they going to be a raffle item? Silent auction item?
That's always scary. I
I did do that one time.
Yeah.
There was some auction sometime, I don't know, about 10 years ago.
Oh, was it that long?
I think so, yeah.
It might have been the rabbi's 60th.
Yeah.
Judy there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, Judy there bought it, I believe, yeah.
What
I
was it?
loved the Ukraine one especially. I thought that was
really?
incredibly moving. Yeah. Very good. I mean, all of your stuff is really cool, but I like that one, and I really like the sort of tumult of people next to it. I don't know how to describe things, but I really like the one that you posted next to it. It was really cool. So.
All right.
Can't say that I've seen them, so I'm not with the program, I guess.
It's on Facebook.
They're on
it's on
Facebook
Facebook.
or Instagram.
Okay, I will check that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was such a pleasure to see them.
Oh, it's so nice to know that people are looking and appreciate them, and it's all part of the process, I guess. I'm just trying to think of when I've got another show in Los Angeles coming up. Probably won't be actually until November.
Uh-huh.
Most of my shows are in Europe at the moment.
Uh-huh.
But
Just keep us posted. Let us know.
yeah, of course, yeah. And yeah, just private message me if you are interested in finding out the price of something.
I'm just so afraid that it's going to be, I'm just a retired person.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be embarrassed by my poverty.
Well, if it's just between the two of you, the rest of us won't know.
Compared to, I mean, when I was represented by big galleries, that the price was relatively low, really, considering. And my prices now are still, compared to my peers, are very low.
I get it.
I have had quite a big career.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm more interested in working with independent arts groups rather than commercial galleries at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I have been since I moved to America, really. So my prices haven't gone up nearly as much as they would have if I was with a commercial gallery.
Yeah, but it's, that scene is just so obnoxious. It's like
it can be, and that's why it's kind of a breath of. It's been a long breath, many breaths of fresh air, not being engaged in that part of the art world. Yeah. Very true, but it's got its upsides and its downsides, of course, like anything.
Yeah, I just love the smaller galleries, just because the people are nicer. I've found, I like them more.
They can be. I don't know. I mean,
really? You think it varies a lot? Well, you would know more than I. I haven't got that much experience. But.
Yeah, I mean, some of the mega galleries, yeah, the directors are very, very cold, but they also have to keep people at a distance. It's such a supply and demand situation that it's you can't just go to a top gallery and say, I want to buy that piece of work.
Yeah, right.
Unless they know you.
Yes.
They want to know all about you, why you want to collect that particular artist, or what's in your collection.
Yeah, my sister.
Basically, galleries are of that ilk. They have collectors for everything that is available.
Right.
So to get in, it takes a long time.
Yeah, my
Not only
sister.
do you need to be a multimillionaire, but you've also, you can't just show up with a checkbook kind of thing,
right?
Because there are other collectors way in front of you. So when you go to smaller galleries, and it's not about an investment, it's about the love of what you want to buy. Yeah, then there's love from the gallerist, because they're trying to pay their bills.
That's it.
So they are going to be more friendly and more open towards you. So
yeah,
it's not that the big gallerists are particularly despicable people. No, they're just
it's not that. It's just the
situation.
It is the situation. My sister lives in Venice, and for many years she had a gallery right across from the Cagrassi, and she handled primarily Loredano Rossine's sculptures, and so, but she also had a couple of people in Prague and and in Tokyo and Kyoto that she handled. And again, it's as you say, there were certain collectors who really kept the business afloat, and the others, you know, I mean, of course, she dealt with all the tourists as well because it's Venice, right? And that's the economy. So, but the big sales were always to the collectors, and she didn't mind doing it. I mean, she really didn't, and she really loved the glass. I mean, she loved it. So, you know, and she knew an enormous amount about the techniques that were involved and the chemistry of it and everything. I mean, because she loved the research, but when it came down to it, you know, she had to pay the rent, and you don't own a gallery in Venice, right? You rent the space, and you know, and she had to support her family because you know, her husband was killed, and you know, so it was an accommodation. Occasionally someone would come through and she could just tell them how much they loved the stuff, and they weren't, you know, ordinarily wouldn't be able to afford anything. And she asked Rosine particularly, because he had grown up very poor. He was a war orphan and then apprenticed and became a maestro over time, and never forgot his poverty. And he, you know, she asked him, can you just make some very small, lovely pieces so that these people who really can't afford your work can at least go home with something that they love? And he said, oh, no problem, right? It's like, he was just a very generous guy. And so, yeah, I get the balancing act, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you follow other artists, but there was this thing at the beginning of COVID that is still ongoing, called the Artist Support Pledge, and it basically there's a price limit on it, that it's $200 $200 limit.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, you know, 99% of the artists, that's the value, that's the real value of their work. But there were a few people like myself who did put made work available with the Artist Support Pledge, and more than that, it was the pledge was also like, once you sold £1,000 worth, you were requested to buy another artist's work.
Oh, interesting.
So it was kind of a lot of give and take as well, but it did enable a lot of artists to buy my work who previously wouldn't have had enough money. There were a small handful of collectors who bought as well, but most kept their distance, you know, knowing that it was way beyond the market value. So they left it for people who really couldn't afford it in any other way.
Right.
Wow. And that was really nice. So I do that, you know, occasionally. That was very special. I'd never done anything like that before, actually. But I'm more actually kind of in context of what you were saying earlier. You know, when I did show at commercial galleries, I was a lot of, and I had work cheap. I would have work on paper would be, relative to my paintings, were rather inexpensive, and a lot of collectors, small collectors, would just buy something on paper and not come back and buy buy a painting. They were kind of just, there are collectors out there who just want to have a piece of work by a well-known artist, and once they've got one piece, then they go to the next, and on it goes. And
sad.
It kind of put me off making work available at a small price. I'd rather, think about the quality of my work, whether it's small or large, and the price, reflects the quality rather than the size.
Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly.
It's just another way of looking at the problem. I don't know. That's the kind of artist side of the story. It does make you feel. I mean, and irrespective of selling work, artists are always kind of requested to donate work or to do work for free. Offer their services for free, not necessarily a work of art, but their skills. And so over the decades you find ways of protecting yourself.
I remember one time in New York, I had this really minor landscape, and this person came through. It was a private sort of gallery thing. It was like really a little throw together fundraiser for something or other. Okay, so and this person came by and said, "I like it, but could you have a soldier saluting the American flag in the middle?" I said, "No, I don't think I can do that." Really, it's just, do you want my soul too? Really, while we're at it, it was so funny. It was almost like, can I have it in blue? It was hilarious.
They can match their couch.
What?
They could match their couch.
Yes, exactly, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't do that in taupe and green plaid, I just like looking at it. Oh, anyway, thank you, David. I mean, a real artist. I dabble, but you're a real artist. and it's so nice to talk to you.
Did you? I replied to a comment that you left. I don't know if you caught that. I was directing you to certain essays about my work. I think, you wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you found any of those online.
Yes, I can. I did find them online because, of course, I'm as a former academic, I have access to a lot of crap. So, but I can get into stuff that you usually have to have a subscription to. So that was nice. And I scoured the New Yorker looking for something that was about you, but
really?
I didn't go back
on my CV. That's not on my CV. So if you do find anything, do tell me about that.
Okay. Well, I have quite a few old copies, and I'll go through because I just fully expected there to be like a little profile, at least.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, I don't really often show in New York. I've only really done one important show in New York, and that's pre-internet. So there's a physical catalog to that, but nothing online.
Well, anyway, it's lovely, and thank you for illuminating me about some of the pitfalls of the trade. My real connection to the trade was when I was young and beautiful. I had an old dress that my mother had made for a White House dinner. There was her knockoff, personal knockoff of a Hattie Carnegie, multi-shimmery silk thing. And I was the cocktail hander outer at a number of different openings, so I could actually go to the openings. Hi, I'm pimping for this gallery tonight. It was really fun, and I had a wonderful time doing it, and I got to meet some fascinating people. But anyway, so thank you. Thank you for sharing your art with us. It's just spectacular. And I am going to say Shabbat Shalom all because I'm up past my bedtime.
Have a good week. Shabbat Shalom.
Goodbye.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good week.